Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome, Facebook. Thank you for joining us. It's another episode of the Writer's Corner live show. You probably have a favorite type of book, either fiction or non-fiction, but you may like to know more about the different types of genres that are available. You may either be published or wish to get published. In that case, this is the show for you. Authors and aspiring authors and readers who want to know what's available. We introduce you to inspiring authors who share their stories and expertise. Right here on the Writer's Corner Live, you get to ask our guests questions and get the answers right here on the show live. Or if you're watching the replay, welcome. In that case, leave us your questions in the comments and we'll get back to you. Another favor. Let us know where in the world you are watching from, because we from all over the world right here. This broadcast is brought to you and sponsored by Be Live Media. Welcome everyone and hello. I am going to bring on Mary, who is my co-host. Mary, welcome.
Hi, everybody. How are you? Nice to see you, Brigetti.
Yes. So if you're new to the broadcast, Mary is an award-winning author of the Poolicious children's book series. She's currently working on another book as well as writing a movie screenplay. Wow. Mary's also a wife and a mother of 3 inspirations. She is also a special needs and disability advocate and also a live streamer, and she lives in Nashville in the USA. So, hey, my friend, good to see you again.
Hi, so nice to see you too. How are you?
I'm well. It's a little cold and hopefully we'll get some rain here.
Oh, I hope so.
Which is always good news, always good news.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to ask you, how cold is it there? Because it's blazing hot over here, so.
Well, it's cold enough for me to have a jersey on, you know.
Yeah.
So it's fairly cold, and I've got long sleeves on as well. So,
well, I don't like the cold either, so I'm kind of happy it's warm here. But you just have to bundle up, don't you?
Enjoy. Shall we bring our guests up one by one?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited today. We got guys on today, so we're changing things up a little bit. I'm super excited about them joining us today.
So how about if I introduce Joseph and you introduce Matthew?
Okay, absolutely. That sounds great.
Fantastic. So first, let's bring on Joseph.
Hello.
Welcome, Joe. And Joe has written 4 books. His 4 books is Caught in a Web, Taking Lives, Stolen Lives, Shattered Lives, and Splintered Lives. And his 6th book, Spiral into Darkness, will debut in January 2019 from Black Rose Writing. He's been an educator for 41 years as a teacher, a coach, a counselor, and administrator. Joe is currently a high school principal and resides in Virginia in the US with his wife, Kim, along with his daughters, Hannah and Emily. And he's lost his son, Will. Joe uses psychology and counseling background to craft his characters, which brings them to life. And his books are topical and fresh and appeal to anyone who enjoys crime thriller fiction with a touch of young adult thrown in. Joe, awesome. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
An absolute pleasure. So let's bring on Matthew. And Mary, will you introduce Matthew to the audience?
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
Hi, Matthew. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Okay, so this is Matthew Brockmeyer. And he is out in do we want to say the deep woods of California, hanging 10, sort of, kind of, or just hanging out, right? And Matthew is, he is the author of the novel Kind Nepenthe. Did I say it right?
No, it's Kind Nepenthe.
No, Kind Nepenthe. Okay, thank you for correcting me, because you've not told me that before, so I didn't know. I'm sorry, I should have asked before. So
All right.
his short stories have been featured in numerous magazines, journals, and anthologies. And he lives off the grid with his family in California. And he is married with 2 children, and he lives on a small farmstead. He likes to howl at the moon and drink human blood. Right? We got that correct?
Oh, absolutely, I did. That is absolutely correct.
So can you videotape that for me sometime and send it to me so I could just see the howling?
Sure, I'll howl for you right now. Ow!
My 14-year-old absolutely loves wolves, and she's an artist, and she draws lots and lots of them. So she loves wolves. So she'd probably get out there with you and howl, knowing my daughter.
Oh, wow. You do that so perfectly.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I really believed it. So have you guys met before, Matthew and Joseph?
No,
No?
no, other than
No.
Facebook and through the Black Rose Writing, that's about it.
Okay. So anyone who's watching or anybody on the replay. So the three of us we're with the same publisher, Black Rose Writing, and they're out of Texas, and they publish all kinds of genres. And we have a great Facebook page that is very supportive, and everyone posts in there when they've got something great and awesome going on, or they need somebody to vote for them, or just kind of to keep up with what's going on with them. So it's a great supportive group, I think. And so I think it's awesome for us to be able to meet face to face like this and kind of get to know each other. We each write different genres. Mine is children's right now. Matthew, what is your genre?
Dark fiction, horror.
Okay. And Joe?
I'm crime thriller with a little bit of young adult.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So if anybody out there is looking for these books, at the end of the live stream, we'll tell you where you can find the guys. If you want to contact them, if you want to contact them for speaking engagements or appearances, or to book them for something, or where to find their books, they'll be able to tell you at the end of the show. So who would like to go first to talk about themselves? Doesn't everyone like to talk about themselves? We are a narcissistic society now with all the selfies and the media, aren't we?
A little bit, yeah.
We're raising narcissistic children, aren't we?
Oh, maybe one or two.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so who wants to go first, Joseph or Matthew? Either one.
It doesn't matter. I can go first if you'd like.
Okay,
What
go right
what would you
ahead.
like to know?
Well, can you tell us? Tell us a little bit about. Well, Borgetti already told us a little bit about your background. What led you to write what you're writing?
I've always been interested in mystery, suspense, that kind of thing. I'm an avid James Patterson, John Sanford, David Baldacci reader,
Okay.
and I like their style. An early reviewer from one of my books actually stated, if you like James Patterson, you're going to love Joe Lewis, and that to me is a real nice compliment.
Wow.
Because I work with kids, and because of my background in counseling and psychology, it was just kind of natural for me to be able to write crime thriller, topical, using kids as really my main characters with some police enforcement, FBI thrown in.
Okay. That's awesome. So what age range would you say? Because there's YA, and there's so many different age ranges and genres these days. What age are your books good for readers?
Well, I know that I have, because I'm a high school principal and kids know that I do write, I do have high school kids that actually read it.
Okay.
And all the way up, past 65, 70. They're really all range. I guess it really is not so much the age range as it is the topic and the genre of crime fiction that draws people.
Okay. All right. That's wonderful. Okay. So how many words is your novel? And how many words do you like to go with the book? Because we think about those things, not so much anyone who's going to read one, but it really does make a difference in the classifications sometimes of your book when and so that's some parts of this live stream are to educate people who want to write and they're not sure about it and they don't even know where to start, and I know I was like that. You guys were probably like that too. Where do I start? Who do I go to? And I mean, I don't know about you, but everywhere I go, somebody comes up and says, I really want to write a book, or I've been
How
thinking
did you
about it.
start?
Yeah, how did
Hmm.
you start? So, and Thornton Klein, who's another BRW writer, we've done a couple of classes for people about from writing to getting published that have been really helpful for the people who've come to them. Because when I went to search for a publisher, I had no clue what I was doing. I was totally a fish out of water. So I want to try to get information out there for anybody who is watching. And so, with words, talk about that for just a minute.
Well, with words, because I was absolutely a newbie when I
Mhm.
started writing, I didn't even realize that there were genre-specific word counts. And
Yes.
so what I did is I just told a story,
Mm.
and it just happened to be in the crime thriller. A young adult is generally less, around 45,000 words, so maybe a little bit higher.
Okay.
In my genre, I think I've gone anywhere up to, I think current Caught in a Web is about 93, 94,000, and the one that is following that's coming out in January is going to be at about 99. And so it really kind of depends upon, first of all, the story. What are the characters doing?
Right.
And I don't necessarily pay a whole lot of attention to the word count. To me, it's get the story down, and then we can go back and edit and cut it to the bone, as Gaiman says, or as Stephen King says.
All right. Yeah. And the editing is just, it's the,
Yeah,
it's the worst part of all of it, I think. I don't know. I don't know if Matthew agrees or not, but the writing is the fun part, right? Everything else is
yeah,
is a challenge, and it's a lot of work, which I was just talking to my girlfriend about this the other day. And as soon as you get published, people think it's I guess a fairy tale ride almost, but it's not, because that's when the work begins.
yeah.
Um, and the hard work begins, because we're all doing about we're all doing about 10 people's jobs in one, unless you're doing so well that, you can hire people to do all that. Otherwise you're doing it yourself.
Yep.
So, and it's late hours and early mornings and in between. And I don't know how old Matthew's kids are, but I know mine, nap time, whenever I can squeeze in those few moments. So, that's awesome. So do you have an in the works coming up after this one? Because I know this next one's coming out in January, right?
Right. I'm actually finishing up, about halfway through, a follow-up called Betrayed
Okay.
that takes it. If you were to read my books, they actually take place in about a 2-year span. And
Okay.
so Caught in a Web takes place in the dead of winter, just after Christmas. Spiral into Darkness takes place right after that, and then Betrayed takes place in the summer. So it's the characters continue to grow, and they continue to do, and it's a very short time span. Each from the beginning of the book to the end of the book, we're talking about a week or two max.
Mm. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Okay. So are you published with anyone else besides BRW?
Yes, True Visions Publications did the Lives trilogy and the prequel, and then I switched to Black Rose Riding.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Matthew a couple of questions now and let him talk. And then before we go off, we'll let everybody know where they can find you, your books and everything else. So we make sure everybody's well educated. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Informed. Okay, Matthew. So can you tell us about your book that's winning awards? And well, you're rocking it out. Both you guys are. Every time you post, it's like something awesome happens. So
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, can you let everybody know about your book and what the story plot is, or yes.
My story is about a single mom. She's got a lot of hippie ideals. She's a vegetarian. She's got long dreadlocks, and she has a 5-year-old daughter. And her dream is to live in the woods, to teach her daughter how to live off the land and have a big organic garden. And so she's in San Diego, and she moves up into the back hills of Northern California and Humboldt County to work on a marijuana farm, hoping that they can make enough money to buy their own land and have like a hippie paradise. But the guy they work for, Coyote, is pretty much a total scumbag, and he owes the neighbors money, and the neighbors are like crazy redneck meth dealers. And the place is haunted. And so there's a lot of ghosts running around, and it all spirals out of control.
I love it. That's awesome.
But it says a lot about the culture of Northern California, and
Okay.
about lost ideals, losing your ideals, how you have these dreams, how people have big dreams, and then they'll let their ideals slip by trying to fulfill them, because the farm that she works on uses all chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and she doesn't believe in any of that. She wants everything to be organic, but she lets herself go down this path for money, and it's a dark path.
Can I ask Matthew a question?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Matthew, I was wondering, how much of you yourself do you find in your writing, in your books?
100%.
That's, I get that question.
I pour my soul out, my heart.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, in terms of character development, do you see yourself as any of your characters?
Have you read it?
No, I have not.
Well, the character Calendula is a lot like me, but he's a bad guy in the end. But I know all these people. A lot of the people, like locals, when they read it, they'll be like, "Oh, I know these people." They're like, they're
brought it true to life. Then is what you did. It's very
yeah. There's actually a real life place here called Murder Mountain. It's kind of famous. Netflix is doing a documentary about it right now, but I call it Homicide Hill. I changed everything, can change everything around, but it's pretty much based on real life experiences.
I think that's what makes any kind of a writer accepted, or a good writer, in that they do put a lot of their heart and soul into the writing. And I think a reader can pick out, well, that's Joe, or that's Matthew, or this is so-and-so. I really believe strongly that if you have really well-developed characters, they live and breathe. They're not cut out cardboard.
Oh yeah, right. If you can master the art of writing and do it well, absolutely. And Matthew, I think that's awesome. Is this the documentary that you were part of that you're talking about on Netflix that you posted about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
They interviewed me.
Yeah. So you have to tell everybody, are you actually?
Yeah, I can't wait for it to come out.
Are you actually in the documentary itself?
Unless I get on the editing floor. Yeah. I mean, they interviewed me for hours and hours. It was pretty fun.
Okay. Well, I hope it doesn't get cut. I have a friend who is an actor, and he was, Can you wait a second? Just give me 5. Okay. Sorry. This is live, man. This is real life. I've got a house full of children. I have a friend who was in, let's see, which one? I'm trying to think, one of the Marvel movies, and everything he did in the movie got cut, and it was on the cutting room floor. I felt so bad for him because we were so excited to see it come out. But now he's got a better part in a bigger movie, and he's in England shooting. So, but it really does kind of, we'll pray that everything you did gets kept in there, and that'll be exciting. And will you let us know when it's coming out so we can watch?
Oh yeah. Don't worry.
Okay, I love it. Well, I love that you are. I love what you're doing, and if I could have that real life dream happen.
Did we lose you, or am I lost?
Yes, I think we there a little bit, so let's just get her back again.
Oh yeah, I'm here. Can you see me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we can see you. Mary, can you backtrack and just repeat that again, because I think what you were trying to say got lost a little bit.
Yeah, no, I just love what Matthew's doing with his kids, and Joe probably can attest to what he sees in schools, that it'd be really great to get kids back to just as natural as possible, and connecting with the earth, and living off the earth. I think it's just, we had a different society when we were doing that. And in societies around the planet, the whole ecosystem, everything about them is so different compared to us. I mean, I know for myself, when I turn off all the technology with the kids, their personalities are different. The energy is different, and so, I mean, I do I am nowhere close to what Matthew does, but I go natural as much as possible in every way that I can with my kids. I go to more, I use a lot of oils and homeopathics and things like that. I go as natural as I can for medicine before I go for bigger stuff, like having to go to the doctor and things with my kids. Now, I have a child who just had major surgery this summer. That nothing homeopathically was going to take care of that, or the earth. So, but I'm a big fan of living that way and would love to. Right now, we live in a neighborhood, so you can't do the things that I would love to do, but at some point we will. So, Matthew, I may call you
Urban
someday.
permaculture is a thing.
Huh?
Urban permaculture? Urban permaculture.
Okay, what is that?
Well, you can. What is permaculture? Permaculture is like a type of or looking at life through a living off the land. It means like permanent agriculture, where but you can do it in urban settings, grow small pots and grow herbs and pots. My wife's a certified herbalist, and it is possible in suburban and urban areas to apply a lot of the methodologies of organic gardening and herbalism and all that.
Right, absolutely.
Just Google urban permaculture. It's pretty fascinating.
Well, I grow as much as I can in the small area that I have. We have a lot of rabbits and deer who like to eat everything. So it presents a little bit of a challenge sometimes. So that's what I have to do, is figure out how to keep them from eating anything that, I grew up. So what is your next project, Matthew? Or do you have one in the works?
Oh yeah, I'm working on a new novel right now. I got a bunch of short stories coming out. I have a collection of short stories that I'm trying to sell right now too.
Okay. Who are you shopping for? Have you started that shopping process, you said?
Not really.
Yeah. Well, it's sometimes very lengthy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, is your novel right now the first one you have, a Black Rose?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes, they just need to be quiet. Sorry, everybody.
That's okay. So I've got two questions for you, Matthew and Joe.
Yes, go right
How
ahead.
do you think being a writer has helped you as a person? Has it made a difference?
I think it makes you empathetic. You have to put yourself into the character's position. You have to be able to open your mind to all different people. And so, yeah, I think it makes you a more caring and understanding person.
I would agree. I mean, again, I kind of repeat myself, but I think if you're an effective writer, you're putting yourself into it. And I know that it has changed some of my beliefs. It has changed some of my worldview. And I think that I've become a little bit better communicator, not only through word, but also as a speaker.
Well, that's Mary. Can I ask the same question of you as an author?
Okay, I didn't hear what it was because I was interrupted. Go ahead. I didn't hear what the question.
So the question is, how do you think being a writer has helped you as a person?
Wow, it helps you. Well, first of all, seeing your creations come to life, I think changes a lot for a person who's a writer and a creator. It's like, because, there's a lot of dreamers. We do a lot of dreaming and wishing in our lives. And when something finally comes to fruition, it's like, whoa, this can really happen. Mm-hmm. So it changes your belief system to some extent. But it also allows you to, I think some ways it gives you permission to be more of who you are, who you're intended to be. And it allows you, your communication changes with people. I know for me, I write different words right now. What I'm writing is different than Matthew and Joe, because it's more lullabies and sweet things and bedtime stories with children and about toddlerhood, so it's a whole different world. So it's very magical in that way. And I don't know, it just takes you to a different place, and it gives you permission to be creative, where maybe you would have held yourself back to some extent because you weren't getting published, or nobody was reading what you were writing, or you were too scared to do it. Now you've taken a chance on yourself. And I don't know if Joe and Matthew feel the same way, because, men and women don't always have those same experiences with stuff. But you've taken a chance on yourself and it's worked. And so now you're like, oh yeah, it makes you, it changes who you are about your, I think, self-esteem too, to some.
I tell you, when you finish the book and you put it out there, whether it's, for somebody to read it before it's published, or you put it out there after it's published and people are buying it, it is one hell of a scary proposition, because you're taking the gamble that somebody is going to perhaps not like it or be disgusted by it, or they're going to fall in love with it. And then you have these arguments with people about, why did you kill so and so, or what happened to that character, and how come you had this person do that, and it becomes this really kind of neat dialogue, but it is really kind of a scary proposition. You're putting yourself out there, you're putting this thing that you worked on for months, maybe years, for people to like, not like, agree with, disagree with, love, hate, and all of that. And so as a writer, you are truly putting your heart on your sleeve, and you run that risk of getting it crushed or knocked off.
Well, you're at the mercy.
I think
we're at the mercy of people whether they buy it or not, right, Matthew? I mean, people don't buy your stuff. You're,
Yep.
We have no control over that, do we?
Well, you market. I mean, you try to get people to buy it.
Right, but I'm just saying that when we put ourselves out there, like what Joe's talking about, if people don't buy it, then what you loved and worked on for so long is like crushed. You know what I mean? So just because we market, it doesn't always pay off. We know that, right? We've had conversations about putting so much money and time into certain things, and sometimes they pay off and sometimes they don't when we market our book, But
so you really literally bare your soul when you write. You opening up yourself to the rest of the world, sharing a part of who you are.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think.
Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, Mary. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just saying it makes us very transparent and very vulnerable.
Absolutely, and I think sometimes the readers, if your writing is good, sometimes they forget it's fiction. And so then I've had conversations even with family members who will say, well, this never happened. Well, I have to remind them that it's actually fiction. and if the characters are consistent from one book to the next, there's some logic involved, even if the situations might not be logical themselves.
Right.
So my next question is, what kind of research did it take for you to write your books, and how much time did you have to spend researching before you could put pen to paper?
I love researching. I really enjoy it. For this novel, I didn't have to do much research because I live it, and I'm like here in this weird place. So but for like a lot of short story, I'll write some historical pieces, and I'll go to I'm a member of the Historical Society, and I'll go down there and hang out in their library all day. And I think part of being a writer is great because you can watch movies and documentaries all day, and you're like, I'm researching. This is work,
That's awesome.
For me, with the 4 books of the Lives trilogy and the prequel, I actually lived that. I was an advocate for kids who were sexually abused, who had been taken, who had been emotionally abused. And so I was an advocate not only for kids, but to parents and as an educator. So I had to research in order to understand what these kids and parents have gone through. With Caught in a Web, I had to do the research in terms of drugs, gangs, weapons, things like that. So again, like Matthew, I really do enjoy the research process. To me, if what I write is not accurate or not true, then I become not believable. And I think that's a risk that any writer has. If you put something out there or put something that's published that isn't accurate, people will call you on it. And I think it's really important, like Matthew said, is that we have to research, and we have to research well.
Mm. Mm. Right. Absolutely. Hey, Matthew, do you have a favorite superhero? Matthew, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm not really that into superheroes. I guess Deadpool. It's a pretty funny guy.
Jeez.
All right, I gotcha. Yes. And what about you, Joe? I'm only saying this because I'm around this all the time because I've got younger kids. So, you know,
A superhero?
yeah, this is just a funny question.
Um, I guess I've kind of always liked Superman.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We like Captain America and Thor in our house, but
Yeah.
anyways, Captain America is my daughter's favorite. But do you guys have any? I know, Brigetti, we probably have to wrap up, but do you guys have words of wisdom from both of you, and then where everybody can find you and find your books? And I can't wait to read y'all's books. I told the girls on last week that as soon as I get everybody in school, I will have time to read, and I love to read. But all my books have dog tags, pages folded over in them. So, but I really want to read both of y'all's books, and I will. And then I may have some questions so afterwards. But some words of wisdom from each of you, and where everybody can find you and find your books and stuff. Thank you.
My words of wisdom be read. It's all about a love of reading. You have to see what works, look at your favorite authors, try to figure out what they're doing, try to figure out how they did it, research it, study it, reread. I always reread. I've read some of the same books, like House of Sand and Fog, probably like 6 times, just looking at how, he's such an incredible writer. So that would be my wisdom. You can find me at www.matthewbrockmeyer.com. My Facebook is Humboldt Lycanthrope. That's HUMBOLDT, Humboldt. That's where I live. And Lycanthrope, LYCANTHROPE, which is what I am, a werewolf.
We know a real one. I'm so excited. I'm excited, Matthew. I know a real werewolf now. So if he's out
Yeah, you do.
to the house, we'll know what's going on. Oh, that's just Matthew.
Watch out in the full moon.
Yeah, right. Where can people find your books?
At Amazon, just Kind Nepenthe, KINDNEPENTHE, which is actually a quote from Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven. Quaff will quaff this kind Nepenthe and forget this lost Lenore. It means to do drugs.
Well, you know what? I remember when your book came out, when you were showing the cover and it was being announced on our Facebook group. I just thought it was one of the coolest titles that I've ever seen. And I can't remember looking at it going, I want to reach out to him. I want to know what his book is about. So I love the title of it. It's really cool. It's very catchy.
You do? Cool.
It's very catchy.
Thanks.
It's like one of those things that, you go, hey, that's what you want. You want things that are going to catch people's attention always. And even if it's off just a little bit, or somebody may go, hey, the way that was spelled, I remember the way that was spelled. Maybe one of the letters was different. You know what I mean? So I definitely love the name of it. And I like where you found the title for it. That's cool. It's very creative. So, okay.
Yeah, a lot of people are confused by it, don't know what I'm talking about. But then you meet like horror fans, Edgar Allan Poe fans, and they're like, "This is such a good title."
Well, it's okay. You're introducing those things to the world of people who don't know about that stuff. So you're bringing in more fans and more people that are curious, and that's really great, isn't it? So, okay, I need about 5 minutes.
And Matthew, where can we find you?
For me,
Actually, is it?
Yes.
you can find me on Facebook at Joseph Lewis Author. You can find me on Twitter at JR Lewis Author. My books, the entire trilogy and the prequel, as well as on the web, you can find on Amazon. I'm there. And then the words of wisdom, if I were to give something, I would echo Matthew in that you need to read. Because to me, reading is to writing as weightlifting is to athletics. I mean, you can't do one without the other. Right. And the second thing that I would say is don't ever quit. If you have a dream, it's going to stay a dream unless you go after it, unless you seek to fulfill it. Right. And don't let anyone say you can't, because you certainly can. If I can, anybody can.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would agree with that. So, okay, where can they find your books?
At Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Okay. And then blackrosewriting.com also.
That
Obviously.
is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm Mary Elizabeth Jackson, and like Bridgetti said, I'm author of Perfectly Precious Poolicious and Poolicious Look at Me, and those are on Amazon and Kindle, Barnes & Noble online, blackrosewriting.com. I am on Instagram as Mary Jackson 444 and Facebook as Perfectly Precious Poolicious and maryejackson.author. My website is maryejackson.com. And I would totally echo what these guys are saying. And, you know, if you leave those words on a page and don't do anything with them, that's where they will stay the rest of the life that they have on those pages. They will never get out there in the world. So you got to take a chance on yourself. And you just got to believe in what you're doing. So I'm really excited you guys came on today. Thank you so much. I hope that Bridgetti will post the replay of this so you can post it out to all your social media, and then they're going to watch it and find your book, and you'll get some new fans.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for coming on. It was so nice to meet both of you. I'm really excited about meeting you guys. So we can rock on, you know.
Rock on.
It's been absolutely awesome. It was great getting to know both you, Matthew, and Joe. Thank you so much for your time, and we hope that you'll come back again sometime.
Be happy to. Thank you.
Anytime,
Thank you.
sure.
All right. Thanks, guys. Yeah, every time you have something new going on, we'll have to come back on and let people know, okay?
Will do.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Peace out, man.
Bye. Thank you.